Maybe you guys saw that panel I did with Piers Morgan. When I was on this panel, actually, I did another panel the other day with Nina Turner. I was on this panel a couple weeks ago with a handful of people. One of them was this woman, Nomiki. I don't know her last name, but she is here now in this show because conservative host up and walks off set of own show when co-host calls her a Nazi. Yeah, they were talking about Mehdi Hasan and Ryan Gerdusky on CNN, and the gist of the story is that Mehdi Hasan called Republicans Nazis with a smile on his face, and when Ryan Gerdusky said, okay, well, you're Hezbollah, they went, oh, how dare you? And the collective outrage of CNN was palpable. They can't take what they dish out. I think it's hilarious. You want to call all Republicans Nazis? I'm going to call you Hezbollah. And they're claiming that Ryan Gerdusky, he said, I hope your beeper doesn't go off. He was basically saying, you are Hezbollah, you support these people. That's the point. You call me a Nazi, you call my friends Nazis. That's what he says about you. And they lost their minds. They banned him from the show. Well, now it gets good. Shout out to Amber Duke, who is a co-host on Hills Rising, which is just really spiraled, hasn't it? They now have this show on the Hill, which used to have Sagar and Jetty and Crystal Ball. It's pretty good. Now they're breaking points. This show is just not good. As they're debating, this woman, Namiki, who I would say is suffering from some kind of cognitive disability. I'm saying that as politely as I can because I believe it's true, and I'm not trying to insult her. I think it's true. I believe she lacks the ability to process information properly, as evidenced by the whole debate that is being had on this show. Namiki says to Amber, you made Nazi writings. I'm not going to bring that up. And Amber's like, no, I didn't. When the show went for break, Amber did not come back and the show was over. Bravo for standing up. I have been saying more people need to do this. I would do the exact same. Or I would, I'm kind of a lunatic. I don't know. You call me whatever you want, but I don't like to just do things that everyone else does. When I see shows like this and I see conservatives sitting there just taking the beat down, I'm like, would you please stand up for yourself? Refuse to participate. Stop trying to sit down with these people. So you may have seen when I was on Piers Morgan, this woman was on as well. Let me tell you about this lady. She really doesn't like that I called her that. When I went on Piers Morgan the other day with Nina Turner, it was very calm and rational. Piers said, Tim, what do you think? I said, here's what I think. He says, okay, Nina, what do you think? He goes, here's what I think. And he goes, okay, Tim, what do you think? I say, well, I think this. Nina, what do you think? She's like, I think this as well. Then I said, yeah, actually, I agree largely with what you're saying. I think we can do these things. The show ended with Nina congratulating me on my family with smiles, and it was very lovely. I think Nina and I may have had back and forths on X at some point, but I will tell you, that conversation was lovely. Now, this lady was on Piers Morgan, and immediately, Piers Morgan is like, Tim, what do you think about voting and Trump and with women and Kamala with men? And I said, unfortunately, I do believe there's an inherent sexism where a lot of men will just not vote for women. How Kamala gets over that, I'm just not sure. I think that's appropriate and calm comment. This lady immediately just goes, Tim Pool is doing this and his audience and they're this. And I'm like, why is this lady yelling at me? She goes, this lady? She just loses her mind. She is toxic. The Hill should not be having her on a show like this. And this is evidence. Let me show you the clip. Let me play it for you.
I think the question is then, do you defend what Mehdi Hasan said, saying that
he wasn't kicked off the panel. Okay. I could go. Can I pull up some of your writing from 10 years ago? Are you going to defend that? We're talking about Ryan Gerdusky right now. You've made Nazi comments in the past. I'm not going to bring that up.
I haven't.
Ross Story brought it up. I'm just asking you, Amber. We're talking about one thing, and then you jump to something else. I don't make this personal about you.
She literally just said, Amber, you made Nazi comments in the past. I'm not going to bring that up. I don't make this personal about you. Hill should fire this woman. I don't say that lightly because I usually just mind my own business. But the Hill, you suck right now. This is garbage. I'm going to say it again. One of the best interviews I've ever done with Piers Morgan yesterday and Nina Turner, and it was legit. I have been on panel discussions before, and they're usually rather calm, some back and forth. I went on Piers a couple weeks ago with this lady, and it was just insanity. It was unhinged nonsense. Wajahat Ali was on it, and he said, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I agree with Tim Pool. Yes, because we can be reasonable and have discussions. I thought Wajahat was great. I disagree with him on a lot of things. I think he's wrong about a lot, but I'm going to try to find those areas of common ground and have a real conversation about the issues. Give me the opportunity, we can do it. This lady, she's just off her rocker. She is unwell, and they put her on these shows because they know it's going to generate buzz.
You constantly put the burden on me. I'm asking you about this man, Ryan, and whether or not you defend him.
I personally wouldn't have said the comment, but I think it's a double standard to say that Mehdi Hassan is allowed to call people Nazis and Ryan Girdusky is not allowed to make a joke. No one said that, Amber.
You're literally pulling quotes out of nowhere. We're talking about the CNN panel. We are talking about the CNN panel in which Ryan was kicked off. Do you defend him?
Yes, I do.
I just said that I wouldn't have made the joke.
Do you defend him?
Yeah, he's my friend, and I will absolutely defend him.
Okay, so do you think it was okay that he said those things?
I just said I wouldn't have said it. I wouldn't have called Republicans Nazis.
But do you call him out for saying
That's fair, too. Amber says I wouldn't call him Republicans Nazis, and I wouldn't call Mehdi Hezbollah. Absolute fair point. Neither would I. I will still defend Ryan Girdusky. If you want to play this game with me, now I might try to be a little bit more tactful. Sometimes I might just try and throw it back in your face. That's what Girdusky was doing. He made one mistake. And that mistake was apologizing for calling someone Hezbollah. Now, to be fair, he didn't need to say it the way he did. But I hope your beeper doesn't go off. They're like, are you saying I should die? No, I'm saying you shouldn't. Like, I hope your beeper doesn't go off. I'm calling you Hezbollah, dude. Ryan Girdusky immediately regretted it, and you can tell. I don't think anybody should be calling anybody Nazis. I don't think you should be calling people these things. There was a point where I had what's her face? Emma something from Majority Report. I don't follow these people. I don't watch these shows. And I had referred to her. I said to her, if she's going to defend books being given to children that depict adult activities, which are largely inappropriate, which I don't want to say, right? There's a book called Genderqueer. In it, it shows adult activities involving the mouth, so you know what I'm talking about. And it also discusses really just disturbed things. I said, that's not appropriate for children. Any adult that is giving that to children is a pedophile. If you are going to tell me you support that, I got no problem saying that. Now, let's be real. The game they're playing on the left is that if you argue, and this is what Amber points out, if you argue that it is bad that white Americans go to Puerto Rico and displace the working class, and at the same time it is equally bad that illegal immigrants come to the United States and displace the working class, they call you a Nazi. Okay, we're talking about immigration. Are the black people in Chicago who are complaining about illegal immigration Nazis? What this woman does, this lady, she says, Tucker Carlson talks about racial replacement. No, he doesn't. You're lying. And that's why they bring people like her on this show. She should be fired. Amber walks off. She tweets this. So this was fun. Rising is shorter than usual today because I chose not to continue sitting at a desk with someone who falsely accused me of Nazi writings because they were losing an argument. I think I have been unfathomably patient with my co-host, but everyone has a line. Thought Criminal said, so what, you're not going to be at the Hill at all? If so, huge loss for them and for us. Well, crap, now I won't watch Rising at all in the future. Amber says, I'll be back tomorrow. I just have enough self-respect not to sit next to someone who's going to do personal smears and then scream at me during breaks. I say this, Amber, do not return to a show that has this woman on it. That's it. This is WWE-style garbage nonsense. It accomplishes nothing. It is lies, manipulation, and it should not be acceptable in public discourse. We can have heated disagreements and we can have arguments, but I believe it is fair to say a couple things. I will stand by. I believe this lady who is yelling about Nazis does not have the capability to process information properly. I am saying that as nice as I can, but I do genuinely believe that to be true. I wish for her the best, but this is not an environment for someone who can't understand logic. When Amber repeatedly says her points, the woman can't process the information. Something she is not okay. I believe this is an inappropriate environment for someone who is suffering from such as this. If someone says, will you defend it? And you go, yes. Will you defend it? I said yes already. Yes, but will you defend it? Do I say it again? If you can't process the information, what are we doing? I believe The Hill, and this is despicable, The Hill is putting this person on the show because they're desperate to generate some kind of a buzz, exactly like what I'm doing here, calling them out for it. It's WWE garbage politics. I don't believe, look, you can do what you want. Go ahead, Hill. You have degraded yourself, and so be it. But I'll say to Piers Morgan, he should not be having her on either. Because that conversation, which I will stress with Nina Turner, was professional. And it's how these things should be done. And if this country is going to heal, that's how we do it. That's how we do it. This is how you make things worse. Mehdi Hasan should be ashamed of himself for saying Nazi, for calling Republicans Nazis. It's like psychotic behavior. And I can say this. Let's throw it out there. Don't call people Nazis. Don't say, I hope your beeper doesn't go off. Let's drop all that stuff. Let's have a rational exchange of ideas. I challenge all of you to this. I'll leave it there. Follow me on X and Instagram at Timcast. Share the show with everyone you know. Another segment's coming up in a few minutes, and I'll see you all then.